Hello, and welcome to the first ever QG Expo. My name is Dylan, also known as QG, and I'll be hosting today's event. We have much to discuss today, but first, let's jump right into the main for this event. Last month, I announced that I was working on a new website, which will become the new home for all of my series. Today, not only am I finally ready to open the curtain and tell people what they can expect, but I'm also going to let people view the website. You can find a link to the website in the description, but I urge you to refrain from clicking on it until the presentation is over. The website contains spoilers from this presentation, so it would be wise to wait until you have watched the whole expo before visiting the website. With that being said, let's get into the details. The new website will be known as the QG Network, and as I stated earlier, will be the home of all my series going forward. However, the QG Network won't just be offering new content. It will also be bringing plenty of older episodes of current and past QG series, some of which have never been posted online before. For example, Evil, an older comic series that takes place in a dystopian future, will see some of its episodes released on this new platform for the first time. Unfortunately, I don't have access to all the Evil episodes, so I was only able to post episode 5 to 12. But regardless, it will still be a nice blast from the past. The website will also have older Queen Goo episodes and older Yeller episodes, as well as episodes from many of my other series. You'll also be pleased to know that as time goes on, I plan to add more classic episodes from numerous series, especially Queen Goo and Yeller comics. I'm also hoping to at some point add QG 2004 All-Stars episodes, though I unfortunately can't make any promises. Along with Queen Goo, the Yeller, and Evil, you can also view episodes of Larclair, The Nonsense Podcast, Project Fusion Outbreak, QG Smackdown, The Zodiac Alliance, Total Yeller Mania, Legally Deceased, Object Battle Royale, Protector of Argy, and Realm Zero specials. Now that all of that is covered, let's discuss the future content that will be released on the website, starting with my new series, Dragonsteel. For those of you that don't know, Dragonsteel has actually been in development off and on for 2 years, and after going through numerous different concepts, I'm finally ready to show it to the world. Dragonsteel centers around 4 individuals who are part of a group known as the Knights of the Universe. The group was formed by Destiny, who is credited with creating the universe. The Knights were recruited to stop anyone that could potentially pose a threat to more than one planet. The group consists of Evelina, a young woman who possesses a sword known as the Dragonsteel, Fabian, the gunman of the group as well as a sadist, Isabel, the resident genius / scatterbrain who fights in a robot suit and has a love for Earth music, and Simon, the other smart one who is capable of transforming into a werewolf and is also the only member of the group who comes from Earth. Together, the 4 create the Knights of the Universe. However, after it is clear that the 4 of them don't work well together, Destiny exiles them to a planet that is their worst nightmare, the planet Earth. Now stuck in a 2-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles, the 4 must learn to navigate the life of an Earthling, while also protecting the planet from evil that dwells on it. Can they learn to put aside their differences and become a functioning team, or will they die despising one another? You will get the answer to some of your questions today, because the first episode of Dragonsteel is available now, only on the QG Network. The first episode is meant to be an introduction to the characters, and give the audience a feel of who they are. It may be a little while before the next episode is released, so I ask that you please be patient. I'm hoping that the series will be worth the wait. Next, I would like to talk a little bit about a project I announced a while ago, and that is the sequel to 2019's King Beast 2. As you can see, King Beast 2 has been given a more official name, and is now known as King Beast Armored. The name represents the antagonist of the latest entry in the Realm Zero universe. King Beast Armored takes place sometime after the events of King Beast. Dylan and Thea have become more comfortable with their place as Fantastic City's protectors, and Fantastic City's people have begun to rely on them. However, there are still some people who don't agree with Dylan and Thea's methods, and people who believe they aren't doing enough to protect the city. During their adventures, Dylan and Thea encountered an armored crusader, who's convinced that the duo is failing the city. This mysterious enemy wants to protect Fantastic as well, but their methods are far more violent, which puts them at odds with Dylan and Thea. At the same time, Lauren Bates arrives in Fantastic to recruit Dylan and Thea in the fight against a global threat that is looming over Earth, and in the process is pulled into their conflict with their mysterious new enemy. Who is underneath the armor? That explosive revelation is bound to send ripples through Fantastic City, so be sure to stay tuned as King Beast Armored is planned for release in 2021. Next, I would like to talk about the latest entry in a fan favorite series. In 2019, after years of waiting, Project Fusion finally saw the light of day in the form of Project Fusion Outbreak. The series was released in 10 chapters and turned out to be a smashing success with die-hard fans of all QG, Caramel Bubble, and Vixenated-related series. Now, I'm happy to announce that a sequel is planned. Introducing Project Fusion The Dark, a direct sequel which takes place immediately after the events of Outbreak. After the Master's defeat, the heroes decide to go public with how the Master stole Fusion from the WPA. Not wanting to look incompetent or have the world discover that the WPA has been experimenting with aliens, the director of the WPA hires an elite group of assassins to kill the heroes before they can tell the world where the Master got Fusion. The heroes must go into hiding and figure out a way to neutralize the assassins hunting them down, as well as neutralize the WPA. At the same time, Dylan begins to face a new challenge of his own that is seemingly connected to his final encounter with the Master, and that could impact his fighting the latest threat. Can our heroes survive this epic battle, or will the WPA prevail? Find out as Project Fusion The Dark releases sometime in 2021 on the QG network. In other exciting news, I'm thrilled to announce that Project Fusion The Dark will introduce a transgender character that will play an important role in the story. This is the first transgender character I have ever created, so I'm looking forward to introducing her to all of you. I would also like to announce that both Project Fusion Outbreak and Project Fusion The Dark are actually part of a trilogy. A third and final entry in the Project Fusion franchise is planned for release at some point in the future, so stay tuned for more updates. Now I'm sure all of you have been wondering why there haven't been any new Yeller episodes as of late. The last episode was released on December 20th, 2019, which means it has been more than a year since any Yeller content has been released. I'm happy to announce that the Yeller drought will come to an end, as a new Yeller series is in development. Yeller the Podcast is a new series which isn't much different from the previous Yeller series, other than the fact that it will now feature voice acting. The new series will feature voice acting from both Caramel Bubble and myself, as we navigate you through the zany lives of Yeller, Dun-Dun, and all of their friends, enemies, and frenemies. The first season is going to feature 6 hilarious episodes, showcasing the misadventures of Yeller and his friends. Yeller the Podcast will release simultaneously on both YouTube and the QG network in 2021. Yeller the Podcast isn't the only podcast I am developing. Coming soon is a podcast mini-series that will give listeners an in-depth look at the history, both on-screen and behind the scenes, of Queen Goo. Inside Queen Goo is a new podcast I'm developing that will consist of 4 episodes. The first episode focuses on the history of the Queen Goo series, which spans nearly 20 years. The second episode will focus on some of your favorite couples, where I look back on what I perceive to be their best and worst moments, and where I discuss what went into developing these relationships on screen. The third episode will provide an in-depth look at some of the series' most recognizable good guys, and then the fourth episode will put the series' greatest villains under a microscope. I'm pleased to announce that the first episode of Inside Queen Goo will be released on both YouTube and the QG network later today, so please be sure to keep an eye out. With both Yeller the Podcast and Inside Queen Goo in development, it is my hope to make podcasting a permanent staple of the QG brand, so look forward to seeing even more podcasts in the future. Speaking of the expansion of the QG brand, there is another new branch of the brand that I would like to introduce you to. Introducing you to QG Gaming. Yes, I realize there is only one G in the title, but I thought the spelling would be far more creative. As the name suggests, QG Gaming is going to be about video games. No, I won't be developing video games, at least not yet, but I will be playing them. I'm pleased to announce that I plan on launching my own Let's Play channel under the title of QG Gaming. The concept is still in the early phases of development, but I hope to release my first video at some point this year. It is my hope to do Let's Plays of numerous different games, and since the concept is still in early development, I am open to suggestions. Expect to see QG Gaming Let's Plays posted on both YouTube and the QG Network. That concludes the QG Expo. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the show today. Please be sure to watch for further updates on everything that was announced today. In the meantime, to tide you over, I suggest you go and explore the QG Network, read the pilot of Dragonsteel episode, and listen to the first episode of Inside Queen Goo. Again, thank you for tuning in.